Kiefer Moore header and Danny Ward saves give Wales a point versus Switzerland in Euro 2020 Group A. More than 2,000 miles and 1,800 days separate Wales from the end of their previous European Championship adventure, and the class of 2021 are keen to ensure they are judged by their own actions this summer. This is a changed world and a changed team, and it is one that wants to create new memories rather than luxuriate any longer in the delights of 2016. By that measure, this battling point marked a commendable and spirited start to a new journey. Footballing fairy tales come in different shapes and sizes, and even if Wales cannot replicate the heroics of 5 years past, they have already conjured another piece of international magic this time around. Step forward Kiefer Moore, the former lifeguard who started his career at lowly Truro City and Dorchester Town. There are few strikers like Moore in international football, and indeed few footballers like him in the professional game. He is physical, enormous, unconventional, and so effective for his country. In a game that was a must-not-lose for Wales, it was the lesser-known Moore who dragged them to a potentially valuable point. Not Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, or Daniel James, but Moore, the big lad with the big head up front. His glancing effort pulled Wales level against a dangerous Switzerland side, keeping Rob Page's side in contention in this formidable group. Others emerged when needed, particularly in defense. Goalkeeper Danny Ward was superb, while Joe Rodden and Joe Allen battled throughout against significant pressure. The draining Azerbaijan heat turned this into a slog for all in red, and they were clinging on with all of their might at the end. The fact that Wales came back, after falling behind to Breel Embolo's header and then held on to what they had worked for, felt like something worth celebrating. After the final whistle, they went as one to their few hundred supporters behind their goal. Players saluted fans, and fans saluted back. The long and expensive trek to Azerbaijan had done nothing to deter those Welshmen who had sought tickets for this opening game. Despite everything, including official advice not to travel, these hardy few had evidently decided that the third major tournament in Welsh football history simply could not be missed. Seated in one group, bathing in the scorching Baku sun, the Red Wall were somehow loud enough to make themselves heard in an arena that hosts 70,000 when full. The national anthem was belted with customary enthusiasm, with the Wales players turning to face their crowd as they sang, and the supporters were soon going through their full repertoire of songs and chants. Among the players to be serenaded in the first few minutes was Moore, whose selection in the attack was the major surprise on Page's team sheet. Moore had started only 2 of the 8 previous matches under the Wales manager, and neither of those had been competitive fixtures. Was Page playing mind games when he left Moore out of his 2 pre-tournament friendlies? It certainly felt like it, and there is no questioning whether the Cardiff City striker offered something different for Switzerland to think about. Indeed, it was Moore who went closest to an opener in the first half, forcing Jan Sommer into a superb diving save after Daniel James had cruised down the left wing. The Moore-James combination was comfortably Wales' most encouraging avenue in the first half, despite the presence of Ramsey and Bale on the pitch. When he has space, there are few players more eager to exploit it than James. The Manchester United winger was soon off again, zipping across the turf like one of the tournament's official remote-controlled cars, and he triggered an early contender for cynical foul of the tournament from Fabian Schär. James went down, sprawling on the turf, and Schär went straight into the referee's book. Aside from these breaks, though, it was Switzerland who controlled most of the game and created most of the opportunities, with Granit Xhaka dictating the tempo in midfield and Xherdan Shaqiri drifting around the final third. They were more comfortable on the ball. Their best opportunities fell to Schär, who forced a save from Danny Ward, and to striker Haris Seferovic, who missed the target with 3 strikes at goal. Wales looked like a team that needed halftime, but the break did them no good. Within 4 minutes of the second half, the powerful Embolo had shrugged off the challenge of Connor Roberts and headed home Shaqiri's corner. The speed of Embolo was presenting Wales with a major problem, but they responded magnificently to the opening goal. Suddenly they were playing higher up the pitch, pushing the Swiss defense back and looking for the openings they needed. The deeper Switzerland fell, the more dangerous Moore would become. The former Truro City and Dorchester Town striker is above all a penalty box player, a threat when he is close to goal, and so it proved when he attacked Joe Morel's cross with all of his considerable neck power. This time Sommer could not react in time. With a precious goal to their name, it was now Wales who sunk back. They were reliant on Ward's reactions and a VAR offside call, but that they clung on to keep their tournament and their hopes of another adventure very much alive.